My mother is a zombie. Grunt. My mother is a zombie. One night, a terrible storm ravaged the earth. Then the unthinkable happened. All around the world, the dead rose from their graves and zombies stalked the earth. Every village, every town, every city, every country was swarming with these monsters. Zombies were easy to spot. How to spot a zombie? Red eyes, unruly hair, pale skin, dazed expression, specks of blood, no words, just grunts, outstretched arms, filthy clothes, jerky movements, whiff of moldy spam. I know that sounds a bit like your teenage brother or sister, but no, these were definitely zombies. The zombies had just one desire: to eat the living. Once someone had been bitten by a zombie, they became a zombie too. So the number of zombies grew and grew. If you saw one, you had to run, run, run for your life. One lady was not so lucky. Her name was Maria. She became a zombie. Let me take you back to a time before that. Now, Maria was a single mother, and the kindest, most caring parent any child could ever wish for. Her son, Bruno, was a very lucky boy, as she showered him with the love of not one parent, not two, but three. Since the zombie apocalypse, the mother and son had been hiding out in a caravan in the forest. Nearby was a tiny rural village named Arcadia, and had yet to be swarmed by zombies. Zombies tended to stick to the cities rather than the countryside. There were far more humans to eat in built-up areas. Once a week, Maria and Bruno would cycle into Arcadia to get some supplies. The peculiar thing about the village was that all the villagers were old ladies, every single one. Whenever the mother and son came into the village, the old ladies kept their distance from the pair, whispered about them behind their backs, and looked at them with a deep, dark suspicion. Often it sounded as if they were speaking another language, one that Bruno could never place. Sometimes the old ladies would all squeeze into the village mobile library van, which had a strange habit of disappearing and reappearing in the most unlikely places. Strangest of all was that sometimes at night they would stand still all over the village, staring up at the stars. Just as Maria and Bruno were packing up their caravan to move to another village, the inevitable happened. A siren sounded. Woo! 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 Zombies! Shouted Bruno over the noise. We have to flee, now! So the pair leaped on Maria's bicycle. She pedaled and Bruno sat on the handlebars. Where are we going? Asked Bruno. The village train station. Then we can get as far away from this place as possible. But where will we go? I don't know yet. Somewhere where there are no zombies. Together they raced through Arcadia. Everywhere they looked, there were zombies, zombies, and more zombies. Zombies at the post office. Zombies on the bowling green. Zombies in the churchyard. Zombies at the pub. Zombies splashing around in the pond. Mom! Zombie! Shouted Bruno. A zombie had stumbled into their path, his arms outstretched to grab them. Grrr! He growled. The zombie just missed them, but spun round to give chase. Up ahead, zombies crowded the road. Maria had to steer the bike wildly to escape their clutches. Finally, the pair reached the village train station only to see that the train was already departing. Choo-choo! We're too late! Shouted the boy. Hold on tight! Cried Maria as she pedaled faster and faster. Whirr! Now traveling at super speed, they had a fighting chance to make it to the last train out of Arcadia. But disaster struck. Mom, look out! Cried Bruno. But it was too late. The bicycle ran over a discarded walking stick and whoomph! Bruno flew forward off the handlebars. Ah! He tumbled to the ground with a thump. "Bruno, no!" cried Maria, abandoning her bicycle to pick him up. Cradling the boy in her arms, Maria ran as fast as she could while the zombies giving chase gained on them. "Growled the zombies. Just like teenagers, zombies aren't real conversationalists. "My boy!" cried Maria to the folk already on board. Helping hands reached out, and Maria passed her precious child to them. Just as Bruno was safely on the train, Maria ran to the nearest open door, but tripped over a dropped suitcase. Trip! She ended up flat on the platform floor. Thwack! "Mummy!" cried Bruno. "Behind you!" Looming over Maria's shoulder was the biggest, baddest zombie. The monster grabbed her by the ankle and hoisted her off the ground. "Get off me, you brute!" cried Maria. "Grrr!" growled the zombie. Just as the zombie's mouth chomped down on her ankle, Maria kicked the monster away. Kick! It stumbled backwards, and she scrambled to her feet, then leaped onto the train. Bruno wrapped his arms around his mother and held her tighter than ever. "Mummy, I thought I'd lost you." "No, no, little Bruno. I will be here for you forever." Bruno looked down at his mother's ankle. "Mom, are you hurt?" he whispered. "No," she lied as a tiny pearl of blood trickled down her foot. The zombie had barely scratched her skin with its teeth. However, that was all that was needed to turn Maria into a zombie too. Bruno gulped. He feared the worst, and the worst was round the corner. The transformation happened very slowly for Maria, so slowly that when they were hiding out with the other escapees on a tiny zombie-free island in the middle of the sea, no one guessed that she was one of the undead. That was because she hadn't gone full zombie yet. Her skin was just a little pale. Her eyes had only a hint of red. Her hair had become slightly unruly. She was a trifle wobbly. Every other word was a grunt. Sometimes her arms were stretched out in front of her, and there was just a faint whiff of spam about her. While they were hiding out, they watched the island's one and only television and saw that the armies of the world had joined together to blast the undead into oblivion. Finally, the zombie apocalypse came to an end. All those who were left alive rejoiced. There were no more zombies left in the world. Except one. Bruno realized his mother was a zombie, but how long would he be able to keep her zombiness secret from the world? The pair returned to their home, the caravan in the forest. Bruno was sure that it was now the safest place for his zombie mother to be. The problem was that there were quite a few telltale signs that she wasn't your average mom. Bruno went to school in the village. At the school gate, as the last lesson of the day was finishing, if anyone pushed into the line of parents, Maria's zombie brain would see red. She would lift them over her head and hurl them into the bush. Whoosh! Mom! If Maria attended Bruno's Saturday morning football club, she would often chase after the ball herself. All the children would be knocked out of the way, and she would kick the ball so hard the goalie would end up tangled in the back of the net. Oof! Mom! Then at the end of the match, she would squeeze the football between her super strong zombie hands and burst it like a balloon. Poop! Mom! If Bruno lost a pencil somewhere in the caravan, his zombie mother would lift their home off the ground and shake it until the pencil fell out, along with everything else inside. Plates, books, chairs, rattle, clutter. Mom! The old ladies of Arcadia were now more suspicious of the pair than ever. Bruno would have to tell them fibs like, "Mum's just having a funny turn." "Oh no, Mum always used to growl like that." "So sorry, Mum's been a tiny bit bitey today." However, as his mother became more and more like a zombie, Bruno had to take desperate measures to keep her secret safe. The boy would put a kazoo in her mouth to turn the growls into musical notes. Bzz. Paint his mother's face with makeup in the morning so she didn't appear quite so pale and deathly. Spray her from head to toe with air freshener so she didn't smell so spammy. Place a tray of drinks in her arms so it looked as if they were outstretched for a reason. Squeeze her feet into his old roller skates so she glided along the pavement rather than doing her dead giveaway zombie shuffle. Of course, the sight of a woman in full clown makeup roller skating through the village, carrying a tray of drinks while playing the kazoo and trailing a cloud of scent led to a great deal of gossip. So, one afternoon, all the old ladies of Arcadia gathered in the village hall. Every single one of them had noticed there was something peculiar about Maria.
"We need to find out once and for all," said the mayoress, "whether she is a zombie or not."
"Hear, hear!" So at dusk, the old ladies piled out of the hall and into the mobile library van. They drove at speeds of up to 10 miles an hour until they reached the edge of the forest. Ready for action, these old ladies were armed with whatever deadly weapons they could lay their hands on. Umbrellas, egg whisks, a tea strainer, cheese graters, a cake tin lid, pooper scoopers, used tissues, feather dusters, spoons, a pen on a chain, a bookmark, a cat. Inside the caravan, Bruno and his mother were happily playing chess. The boy knew it was best to let his zombie mother win. If he didn't, she tended to snap the board in two and eat it. Chomp! So just as he was making a stupid move, Bruno was distracted by shadows moving outside the caravan. "Mom, I think there is someone out there." "Grrr," was her reply. She only said grrr these days. It wasn't until he put his face right up to the glass that he saw the faces of the old ladies, illuminated by torches. They looked super spooky, much spookier than his own zombie mom. "Ugh!" he cried, in shock before he gathered himself together. "Mom, stay here," he ordered. "Grrr!" Bruno took a deep breath and opened the door of the caravan. "Good evening," he said brightly, beaming the biggest smile he could muster. Sadly, the smile was not contagious. The old ladies kept frowning.
"We need to speak to your mother,"
announced the mayoress. "She's out," lied Bruno. At that moment, his mother's face loomed behind him. "Grrr," she growled. "Oh!" cried the old ladies in fright. "Oh, hello, Mother. I didn't see you there," chirped Bruno. "Let's get back to our chess game." She took a bite out of the bishop. Crunch!
"We have good reason to believe your mother is a zombie,"
declared the mayoress. "My mother? A zombie?" replied the boy. "Ha ha ha! Whatever would make you think that?" "Grrr!" demanded his mother, which didn't help matters one bit. Then she tore off the door to the caravan and flung it over the old ladies' heads as if it were a frisbee. Whoosh! They ducked, and the door hit a tree. It hit the tree so hard that it toppled over. Thud! "Well, that seems to clear everything up. I wish you all a pleasant evening," chirped Bruno. With that, he went to shut the door to the caravan, before realizing it wasn't there anymore.
"Not so fast,"
said another impossibly old lady, hobbling out of the mobile library van on her Zimmer frame. There was quite a wait until she'd made it all the way to the caravan.
"We will destroy your mother if it's the last thing we do," she added.
"With that egg whisk?" asked Bruno, chuckling. Even his zombie mother found this funny. "Ha, ha, ha."
"That's not just an egg whisk,"
said the old lady.
"It's a laser blaster."
She fumbled with the switch on the side of the egg whisk, and blast! A red light shot out. Zap! It blew a flaming hole in the side of the caravan. Boom! "How come you have a laser blaster? You're an old lady."
But I'm not just an old lady. I'm really an alien from the planet XOXOXOXOXO.
What kind of a planet name is that?
It's better than Earth. So obvious.
With that, she pulled off her mask to reveal a horrifying lizard creature underneath.
Ladies!
Cried the alien. All the old ladies behind her did the same, each revealing a face more horrifying than the last.
Ugh!
Screamed Bruno. Ugh! Agreed his mother. It takes a lot to scare a zombie, but this did the trick. What are you going to do? Demanded Bruno of the old lady aliens.
We are here to take control of Earth, but first we need to destroy the human race, starting with you two.
Suddenly, all the aliens revealed laser blasters hidden in their weapons. Deadly shafts of red light shot out. Zap, zap! The beams hit the caravan, turning it into a ball of flames. Whoomph! Quick! Screamed Bruno. He grabbed his mom by the hand. Together they hurled themselves out of their burning home, landing on the forest floor with a thump. Grrr! Growled the zombie as she hit the ground. Bruno leaned down to help his mother up to her feet. As soon as he had, the pair realized they were surrounded by the terrifying lizard aliens. Oops, said the boy.
Prepare to be destroyed,
said the alien with the egg whisk laser blaster. She seemed to be their leader. All at once, red laser beams shot out of all the aliens' weapons. Zap, 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 zap! The shafts of light burned the ground around them. Bruno grabbed his mother's hand and pulled her behind a tree. The lizard aliens came closer and closer, their weapons blasting the tree with every step. Zap, zap, zap! We're done for, whispered Bruno. Grrr, growled his mother, shaking her head. She wrapped her super strong arms around the tree and began to yank it out of the ground. Grrr! We can floor them with this, said Bruno. Grrr! Replied his mum, nodding her head. But, however hard she tried, the tree wouldn't come. Let me help, said Bruno, but he wasn't strong enough to make much of a difference. Zap, zap, zap! Still the blasts kept coming.
Say goodbye forever,
taunted the closest alien, just a step away from the tree. Suddenly, Bruno had an idea. A brilliant, awful idea. Bite me, he yelled. Huh? Said his mother. Bite me! Turn me into a zombie too! She shook her head. Bite me, please, I beg you. It's our only hope. She shook her head even more. All right, then I will make you bite me, said Bruno. He put the tip of his finger inside his zombie mother's mouth, and then with his other hand, he tickled her under the chin. Chomp! Went her mouth, biting down on the boy's finger. Yow-way! Screamed Bruno. The aliens had now surrounded the tree. They looked on in confusion as the boy began to transform in front of their eyes. Bruno's skin turned deathly pale, his eyes shone red, and he began to pong like out-of-date Spam. But the best part was that the boy now had zombie powers just like his mother. Grrr! He growled. Together he and his mother yanked the tree out of the ground. They hoisted it above their heads and spun it round. Whoosh! It knocked over all the aliens like Skittles. Their weapons flew out of their lizard hands and landed far away. Now it was the turn of the zombies to circle the aliens. They stretched out their arms and stumbled towards them. Grrr! The mother and son zombies growled together. Without their weapons, the aliens cowered.
To the spacecraft,
said their leader. On her order, the aliens all charged towards the mobile library van and bundled inside. The van glowed bright red and transformed into a spacecraft. Clonk, clunk, clink. Then it blasted off into space. Zoom! The pair of zombies on Earth looked up at the trail of fire across the night sky. Grrr! They growled happily. Huge smiles spread across their faces, and they hugged each other tighter than ever. The pair had foiled an actual alien invasion. They had saved the Earth. The only downside was that they were both now zombies. Still, nobody's perfect.